Looking at the Black & Decker above ground variable speed pool pump, let's get started. All right guys, welcome back to the channel. So let's head down to the pool. I want to talk about the Black & Decker above ground pool pump, variable speed. It's perhaps the best pool pump I've ever used. And it's perfect for our application here because we run our pool off grid on the shed between the solar and the batteries. So check out my other videos where I go into detail about the off-grid shed and what it powers. But having this new pool pump is really essential because it's really efficient, it works really well, uses really not a lot of power, and gets the job done. All right, so let's just do the essentials right now. I also want to show you some unboxing footage of the pool pump and putting it together, and some tips and tricks that I did to get my setup going. All right, first look here, we got the lid, gasket, all the fittings, O-rings, and so forth. And then power cord. I'm probably going to detach this and use the one I already have for the smart switch I just installed. So I'll rewire this, and it looks like the ground is down here. This is a little interesting design. It comes out. You see here. Oh, I see. So it's just a screw. Not sure why that sticks out so much, but it looks like you could maybe thread it into something else that's grounded. But that'll work. Looks like a nice unit. Got top and side discharge. Just going to use traditional top discharge for a above ground pool pump. Black & Decker, I think it's serviced by another company, and Black & Decker is just like a brand name. It's probably trademark that's purchased to put on this pump. So here's another ground. This is the one you would probably traditionally find on a pool pump. Something looks like this. So I'll have to read the instructions to see what's going on, why there's two grounds. I'm going to cut this cable tie. Took the gland off, and this comes out. The cable tie is holding that in. Now I'll just disconnect from here. We got your hot, your neutral, and your ground. I have the same connectors on my other cord for the pump, which will work. I'll just switch out the cord, and we'll be good to go. So getting things hooked up here, and check this out. So that second bonding is actually here where the water comes in. So it looks like you can bond the actual water in the pool, in case you have some kind of shock. Hopefully things would go to ground. So 2 points of grounding on this. You got one on the motor itself, and then one further back here. So I got all my connections made now. Green, neutral, black. Looking pretty good. All the electrical's done. I got the other ground done over there. Everything is being tied back to ground on both sides. Nice little setup. So let's go ahead and show you how nicely this pump powers up. It has a built-in soft start because it's variable speed. So check this out. Turn it on. And it just ramps up ever so nicely. So that's really critical for my setup here because previous pool pumps, they would slam the inverter with inrush current. And the inrush current would be like 2,500 watts for a brief second. And that would be really hard on the inverter and the batteries. After doing a little research and finding out that the pool pump had a soft start built in, I was previously looking at adding a soft start to another pool pump, but this was a game changer. A good soft start would cost around $300 to install.
300, we have 300.
And the pump itself, at the time of this video, is about $430 off Amazon. And it was a no-brainer just to upgrade the whole pump and get a better system.
Upgrades, people, upgrade.
Now let's go ahead and talk about energy consumption on this pump, another essential. At the high speed setting, 3,450 RPMs, it's drawing 624 watts. At the medium speed, 2,600 RPMs, it's drawing 280 watts. And at the lowest speed, 1,600 RPMs, it's drawing 87 watts. Now, another essential I want to talk about is this pump will work with a pool switch, whether it's mechanical, automatic timer, or in my case, my Wi-Fi pool pump switch here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just turn it off manually. And once power is cut to the pool pump and you restore power, it will automatically turn on. Just takes a few seconds for it to engage. We'll just close that up, turn it back on, and then just wait for it. So it just clicked on. So when power is restored to the pool pump, the pump will cycle on for 2 minutes, and then it will revert back to its previous setting. So in my case, it was on the medium 2600 RPMs. It will go to that and finish out the cycle. So I think it'd be a good time to talk about why there's different cycles on this pump. This pump is designed to run 24/7. And if you have it on high, you turn the pump on, you put it on high, it's gonna run for 2 hours. After the 2 hours expires, it's gonna shift down to the medium setting, 2600 RPMs, and run for 24 hours. Then after 24 hours, the pool pump is gonna go ahead and cycle down to 1600 RPMs and run as long as there's power to the pump. Now, I think one of the common misconceptions of using a variable speed pool pump is that some people want to run the pool pump on high setting for like 8 hours a day. And it's really not needed because this pump is so efficient that it's going to move nearly as much water on lower settings over just a little bit more amount of time and save a lot of electricity. So I think it'd be a good time right now to take a look at those settings. Let's go over some of the flow rate. Let's look at the pool affinity law, as well as accounting for a 1.5 inch pipe that all the water is flowing through. So running our pump at 3,400 RPMs, which is max power, we move about 44 gallons per minute, 2,600 gallons per hour, and of course that's at 624 watts per hour, and that's 100% energy consumption. When we slow the pump down to 2,600 RPMs, which is the medium setting, we're flowing about 33 gallons per minute, or just under 2,000 gallons per hour, and that's happening at 281 watts per hour, and that's almost a 55% energy savings from running the pump at full power. Running the pump at 1600 RPMs, the lowest setting, we're using about 46% power, moving 20 gallons per minute or 1,224 gallons per hour, and this is only using 87 watts per hour. This in itself is 86% energy savings from running the pump at full power. Now, we could certainly talk more about affinity laws and how they work, but as you can see from the data here, just slowing down the pump, moving the water slower, accounts for a significant energy savings. Now, our pool is 10,500 gallons, and it's important to cycle the water at least once, but we shoot for cycling it twice as best practice. Using the new variable speed pump, if we were running at full power, it would take just under 4 hours to cycle the water once, and would use about 2.5 kilowatts of power. On the medium setting, we'd be looking at just about 5 hours and 15 minutes to cycle the water once, using just under 1.5 kilowatt hours. Lastly, if we ran the pump at the lowest setting, it would take about 8.5 hours to cycle the water once, using about 750 watts of power, or 3/4 of a kilowatt. As previously mentioned, it's best practice for us to cycle the pool water at least twice a day, so here are the numbers. On high setting, about 8 hours for just under 5 kilowatt hours. On medium setting, 10.5 hours for just under 3 kilowatt hours. The lowest setting, around 17 hours, using just under 1.5 kilowatt hours of power. Now, this next slide is probably the most important because it's real world numbers. We're going to look at the old pool pump previous to installing this new variable speed pump and looking at those numbers compared to what we're using now as far as moving water and using energy. The previous pool pump ran about 10 hours a day at full power, 3,400 RPMs. At 750 watts per hour, we were using about 7.5 kilowatt hours per day. The amount of water that was cycled was about 26,400 gallons, or 2.5 cycles per day. With the new variable speed pump, we're using it for 12 hours a day, running it on the medium setting at 2,600 RPMs. We are cycling just a little bit less water, 23,868 gallons, or 2.27 cycles per day. The most important number here is the energy savings from using the old pump compared to the new one. We are seeing a 55% energy savings from using the new pump while cycling the water twice a day. Now, it's important to note that if we wanted to save even more power and cycle more water, it would be best practice just to leave the pump running 24 hours a day on the lowest setting, This would use 2 kilowatts of power, move over 29,000 gallons of water, or 2.79 cycles. This in itself is why a variable speed pump is ultimately designed to run 24/7. Now there is some flexibility with this pool pump. If the sun is shining, we may run it on high for a few hours, including if we're in the pool. Sometimes we run on high, sometimes we run on low, but it is nice to have that flexibility in this variable speed pool pump. So I just want to offer some final thoughts on the variable speed Black & Decker pool pump. This is sold on Amazon. It's also available through Pool Parts to Go. They are the actual seller on Amazon. This pool pump has not been sent to me to review. It's my own honest review. Now I do want to mention that making this video, I've waited about 6 weeks to really give this pump a thorough run through from spring into summer. And I'm really happy with the results. It's energy efficient, it's moving lots of water, it's keeping our pool really clean, especially at the medium setting, 2600 RPMs. I think it's one of the best pool pumps I've ever used. Definitely has high quality components. The pool pump comes with a soft start. It works with mechanical, digital, and Wi-Fi pool pump timers. It's a listed pump with ETL, which is one of the listing agencies for North America. It's similar to UL listing. One of the other things I really like about this pump is it's pretty easy to set up. You can hardwire it into your existing pool infrastructure without any issues, or you can just use the 120 plug that comes with the pool pump. I definitely give this pool pump my highest recommendation. It's a great system that's working for us. I just want to share some of those thoughts. Definitely a big improvement and nice upgrade for the off-grid pool and shed. Again, I want to thank you for watching. Take care and have a great day.